How you guys doing today? This is Darius from Down Under TV. Welcome to the channel. So today I want to talk about a situation that I've noticed that a lot of women in the States, in America, or the West, as you want to call it, they really want sovereignty over men, meaning they want to be the heads of the house due to some internal resentment for their natural position as a woman. And it's a sad thing because men and women are meant to work together, but there's hierarchy. Men, being the heads of the house, they are the representatives of the family. So they have the final say, but the woman is the helpmate. She's there to give him support and be able to help in his direction that he wants to go in. But you see, a lot of chicks are competing or getting in the way of a man's progression, whether she pushes the family in the wrong direction or she competes with her man, which doesn't make any sense. If you love that man, you shouldn't look at him as competition. The only reason why a woman would look at a man as competition is if she looks at him as below her and somebody she wants to conquer or dominate or be the head of, because she doesn't respect him as a man. And unfortunately, you see that a lot in the Black community, where the majority of the women are competing with the men on purpose. And unfortunately, a lot of Black men don't want to have to deal with that. So this is why you see a lot of Black men dating white women, Hispanics, Asian women, because those women are more supportive and they're more of a soft landing, where the woman is feminine and she trusts him. He's not having to compete with her, and there's not a lot of clashing between the two. But Black women, at least modern Black women, clash with the men and are very aggressive with them. And the women who are quote unquote feminine, they have a lot of arrogance and pride to them, where they feel like they all deserve multi-billionaire men, when in reality, most women are not qualified to deal with those type of men, because those men who are captains of industry, who are the top 1%, those men want a woman that's quiet, that's submissive, and that they will follow directions and instructions. So most modern women were never raised to be wives. They were never raised to be submissive and supportive in that way. Most of them have egos and pride. And so their pride and ego gets in the way. But unfortunately, this is why a lot of men have given up and started to date outside their race, because they prefer women who aren't combative and who are coachable and trainable to be able to follow their lead. And so a lot of women in white communities, Asian, Hispanic, those women get those high class Black men instead of the Black women, because those women are willing to build with him. They're willing to be with a guy who's quote unquote a nerd or lame, as they say. But even though he's a lame or a nerd to most Black women, he's going to become an engineer. He's going to become a successful small business owner or a man of industry and a captain. And so a lot of women don't see the potential in a lot of average dudes because they have high expectations for them. And you also see why the passport bro movement has grown considerably, because a lot of men see that dating and being in a relationship in the West is very bad, because those women are very combative. Those women are very combative. The legal system, that's the number one issue why a lot of dudes get with women overseas. The legal system of alimony and child support wrecks most men. And the wise men see that there's no point in being with a woman and having a family here, because once you get married and sign on the dotted line at the courthouse, she has your balls, because now she can use the state to punish you, whether it's to put you on alimony, child support, kick you out your house, call the cops on you just because she's mad at you. All those advantages she has to use as a weapon against you turn off most of the wise men. So a lot of guys who have remote jobs or who have online businesses, they decide to move to Latin America, Africa, Asia, or Europe to get with women that they can be in a relationship with. And they don't have to stress about being with a woman that's fighting against them or resisting their leadership, where a lot of those women overseas, the environment teaches them to be cooperative, to be willing to listen and follow a man's lead, because life is more difficult outside of the US. So men and women need each other, and especially women. So they can't say they're strong and independent. Even here in the States, women are given a lot of privileges that honestly a lot of them didn't earn. But because men have good hearts and we want to make women happy, we give them a lot of privileges that they didn't earn. But what happened is now they're arrogant and prideful, and now they feel like they don't need men when they do need men. So a lot of men are just going overseas and saying, forget all this. We're going to be with women who are more humble and more appreciative. And I don't blame them. Like, alimony and child support scare me, because I know many men who have been financially wrecked. And they tell me their most biggest financial losses are them getting married and having kids. Even though we need marriage and kids, but here in the West, in the States, it's not. For a man who wants a traditional home, it's not so wise to do it here in the States, because the woman has a loaded gun, which is the state, and at any moment she can use that. And you have to understand, women are short-term solipsistic thinkers, meaning that they think about themselves. They don't think about the long-term ramifications of their actions. So if they're mad at you, they're going to be like, I don't love you anymore. I'm leaving you. I'm taking the kids and I'm putting your ass on child support. And they don't understand that you're destroying the family unit when you do that. So a lot of dudes don't want to deal with that headache. So this is why a lot of dudes are going to Colombia, Brazil. They're going to Africa like Kenya. They're going to Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, because at least in those places, the women are appreciative of what the man does for them. They're appreciative of it. And they're more humble, and they're not going to try to use the state to try to make you submit, because that's all what it is. The family court is basically a way to make men be submissive and do what the woman says. And that's the honest truth about that. And so this is why the birth rates are low. They're at like 1.6 right now in the United States, and it's low in every advanced first world country is below replacement. And you need a birth rate of 2.1 just to skirt the line. But every Western country, the birth rates are extremely low, because a lot of men are checking out, and a lot of women's standards are so high, they only want to marry and have kids with the one percenters. And if they do marry with an average guy, they're only going to have one kid or no kids at all. And so this causes a complete imbalance. And it's going, in the long term, it's going to collapse our country. And women are going to suffer the most if a collapse does happen, because a lot of men are lonely. They can't get a woman and they're frustrated. And not every man can go overseas. So if a collapse happens, Mad Max. But like I said, this is for any man. If you can make remote money, if you can go overseas, if you can make any type of income online, if you can make $2,000 a month, you can live pretty much in most third world countries. to be honest with you. And so I would say that's the more wise choice. Marry you a chick or get you a permanent residency in whatever country and live there, because there's no point in trying to save a sinking ship. It's better to get off the boat and go to better lands where you're more appreciative and you're treated a lot better. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The system is noticing a lot of men are leaving America and they don't like that. And they don't want it because the secret is men pay most of the taxes, men mostly. And so if all these men are leaving the United States and they're not investing in the country anymore, then the system will collapse even quicker. So you see a lot of companies pushing back for remote work, where they're telling people you got to get back in the office, even though COVID proved most of these jobs you can do at home. But the companies don't want men to leave, i.e., the government doesn't want men to leave the system because they need men. They need all the average Joes, men that women don't want. The system needs them to keep paying taxes and feeding the beast. And I tell men, if find any way possible to not come back to the States if you can, because there's no benefit in you staying here. You're going to be alone with no woman, and the woman you will have will be overweight. She can't cook, clean. She's rebellious. She doesn't listen to you. She doesn't respect you. Think about that. And you can't get a chick that's a 6 or up because their standards are too high. So I would suggest men to find any way possible to make money online. Any way. You don't need that much money. Just $2,000 a month. You can live pretty much in any third world country or second world country. But anyways, this was just a rant I wanted to talk about. Had some thoughts on my mind since I wasn't at work right now. Anyways, thank you guys so much. This is Darius from Down on the TV. I'm out.